Game. Our first game, starting it off, is called Story, Story, Die. This game is for everyone, and how this game works is they're going to start telling you a story, and then at any point during the story, it gets boring, they stutter, they look at you and like make a face, and they're like, kill me. You just yell out, die, and then that person's done for the rest of the scene. Someone who has a really good thing they're going to be doing on Saturday. Tubing. What's your name who's going tubing?
James.
James? James is going tubing. Guys. And Kat. You're going to tell the story of James and his tubing adventure. Where are you going tubing?
Savannah.
Can you tube in Savannah? No. So you're a liar.
There's a boy named James, and he went on an epic adventure with his family to go tubing in Lake Sinclair. Now you might think, what's that? Die? Wait a minute, is that official death?
I don't even know. You just got saved. Steve, go.
Okay.
And so Lake Sinclair is now in Savannah. Right between the overpriced Paula Deen place and where they get the flowers for $5 on the street. That's where Lake Sinclair is now. So he gets on this big tube.
Cat.
He gets on this big tube and then he figures out that you can't tube in Savannah.
That wasn't die, Cat. Patrick.
I got that.
So we figured out you can't tube in Savannah. There's nowhere to tube in Savannah. I mean, you got the Savannah River, but as I've been told, you don't want to tube in Savannah River.
Apparently they don't like it.
Honestly, it's clearly not what you do here. Drake.
Throw me into the... No, you can clearly tube on the Savannah River. There are Coast Guard boats that'll pull you for free. It's a government fact. You can switch your accent. They pull tourists and on the Savannah River.
Jeff.
And so he's going down the Savannah River, and he finds out he's got a double-man tube, and he looks behind him to find out who else is riding with him but Captain Jack Sparrow.
Hell yeah.
So Captain Jack Sparrow is drunk off his ass as usual. So he tells them, he says, James, I've got a treasure secret for you. I've got a secret. James was like, whoa man, you need to have some water and sober up and then I'll get back to you later. So they're going down the river and then the Coast Guard is pulling them for free because they get tax money and stuff. And they find this log where it's coming out of the water and they go and they take off and they ramp all the way off and then in the air.
Steve.
All the way off.
And then they land in the street of Savannah. And they're like halfway across the street and this big asshole thing's going, wait, wait, wait. Out of nowhere, Calypso comes out of the water.
Jeff.
And turns into a bunch of crabs. All these crabs all over the street. They're still getting pulled by the boat on the street, and they're veering left and right, avoiding the cars, avoiding the trucks, trying to...
Brian.
And then a couple of rednecks on the side of the river come over and say, hey boy, take them pants off. I want to hear you squeal like a pig.
The one thing that can save you from a redneck with a shotgun is not dueling banjos. That's a bad sign for that. But you hear that one song, that saxophone riff that you all know and love.
Sean.
Baker Street! And so you're playing the song Baker Street, and all of a sudden you realize that the guy...
I dodged the bullet. I dodged the bullet.
And by this point, Jack's sobered up a little bit. He's like, let's get the fuck out of here! So then they ramp it back off of a streetcar, back into the water. They're still going, and it's crazy as shit. And then the rednecks are hauling behind them on some ATVs that actually...
Drake.
So they're on ATV, like Sea-Doo things that kind of morph. It's really expensive, and I don't know if you've ever seen them in the showroom. It's like 50 grand for like a Sea-Doo that can go on land.
Brian.
Well, eventually, the rednecks caught up and they said, give me Johnny Depp. If you do him, you're still not gay. But they decided they'd also go for James too. So, you know, there were two red.
See.
So with rednecks firing at them, it became a game of tube theft auto. And out of nowhere, they're hitting babies and calypsos, and the little rings from Sonic the Hedgehog are over the river. And so they're in the middle of the river when who shows up but Paula Deen and a shitload of butter.
Hey y'all, I'm just gonna take some of these crabs and dip them in this butter and fry them up all nice. And so she starts feeding these rednecks the crabs, and they're like, hey, this is some pretty good crab.
Good.
You're not dead.
So Paula Deen is in the middle of the river, and they're like, who's gonna fight Paula Deen? When out of the water, Rachel Ray comes out and
Stars.
She's like, woman, I will destroy you in 30 minutes or less.
Let's go.
And out of nowhere, she pours some shit in her eyes, and Paula's like, what the fuck is that? That's EVOO, bitch.
And all of a sudden, Paula Deen pulls out her homemade country fried steak and gravy and starts tempting Rachel Ray with it. Rachel Ray's like, no,
Come on!
Steve, if you will wrap up the story of James's tubing adventure.
And so as they went down the river on their tube with Paula Deen and Rachel Ray, who over some nice everyday Italian fixed their they passed a boy named Huck on his way down the river. And they said, Huck, where's Tom? And he goes, well, Tom's not as good as I am. And so they pick up Huck and they take him to the happiest place on earth, GCSU, where they bleed him for every dollar that comes out of his body.